What on earth are these yellow discs that you see on many World War II historical vehicles, such as the jeeps, trucks, tanks, and any other military vehicles using the Allied Army? You might have seen quite a few pictures of these yellow discs looking a bit like this, with numbers written on them. On jeeps, you usually see the number 2 or number 2/3. Well, what are they? What are they about? Well, that's what we're going to have a look at today. And we're going to make this into one and attach it to my jeep here. So, what are these plates? These plates are what we call bridge plates. These are to allow bridge entries on hastily built bridges through Normandy, Germany, and even further on, and other conflict areas, to identify what vehicles can go over what bridges. See, bridges, especially at war, could often be built quite quickly. Now, they need to know what vehicles can go over them without overloading the bridge and collapsing them. So quite often you'll see jeeps with the number 2. Now that doesn't mean it's 2 tons, that just means it's in classification 2. There are a number of the vehicles in classification 2. We'll talk about those in a little moment. Sometimes you'll see them with the 2/3. Now that 3 means that it's carrying a trailer. The bottom number is the weight classification for the Jeep itself. The top number is the classification for the Jeep and the trailer combined. So the Jeep is 1, the trailer is 1, the Jeep is 2, so together we have 3. I know, great maths. This document here shows a few of the vehicles that are in different classes for the bridge. As you can see, Jeeps are in class 1 and 2, and maybe some other classes. That is due to what they might carry. Now, what are some of the factors that go into the class of a vehicle? Well, of course, you've got weight as one of the main factors. However, it's not just the weight. It's also about how many wheels it's got, whether it's wheeled or tracked, how many axles, axle spacings, all these things. It's all about the distribution of weight. So you could have, for example, a heavier vehicle, which has a lot more axles, a lot more distribution of weight, so it's in a lower class than a heavier vehicle. The engineers are responsible for classifying bridges. They post the capacity of which bridges they construct. They may also assess civilian bridges to determine their classification. It is important to note that the classification may not necessarily mean the tonnage. Bridge plates originated here in England, in the UK, not on this spot here, don't worry. Now, they came around initially to go over civilian bridges in the Britain and the UK before we went across the seas. This was because, well, we were starting to mobilise for war. A lot of heavy equipment was having to be moved around over bridges which may not have been tested for a long time, or we weren't sure about the weights to begin with. These vehicles wouldn't normally be travelling these routes, but in wartime they've got to get around, get to training areas, distribute resources. Now, this system worked so well that pretty much all the Allies adopted it, and through all theatres of the war it was used. Some different types of Jeep plates are around as well. Most common one is a flat yellow one, approximately 9 inches in diameter, with thick black numbers on there. There are a few other instances. Frontline forces quite often had less obvious ones, more subdued ones to make it not stand out as much. In the desert and some other places, the numbers could often be painted directly onto the vehicle itself. They could be made out of different things as well. So, for example, I think this one's made out of old paint lid cam. Soldiers used what they could, use what was around. It is impossible to overstate how important bridges were to the war effort for every side in the conflict. Without bridges, forces would not be able to cross masses of water, canyons, or anywhere like that. Due to this, there were many battles over bridges. This is because all sides would prioritise them to either capture or destroy. The footage you're seeing here is of the Ludendorff Bridge, also known as the Bridge at Remagen. This is one of the main bridges over the River Rhine which still stood. The bridge was captured by US forces in early March 1945 before the Germans could fully destroy it. They did manage to damage the bridge, and later on it did collapse, but not before US forces got significant forces across the bridge and they managed to repair parts of it. As we mentioned, bridges were prime targets for all sides in the war. They were often targeted for airstrikes, parachute raids and sabotage. Due to this, Allied forces came up with many different ways to quickly build bridges to cross rivers. This is where bridge plates came in key. without these bridge plates, many Allied bridges would collapse due to heavy vehicles going over them when they were not suitable for it. Bridge plates were that successful that they're still used today in some places, now and again. Okay, let's try and make one of our own now then. So we've got our plain Jeep plates here now, all ready to go on. We just need to get our stencil. Try and draw one. I can't do shit. So we've printed out just plain old number 2, because we've just got a Jeep, no trailer. Gonna cut that out and yeah. So we've got our Jeep plate stencil ready to go. All there is to do, give it a bit of spray paint. There it goes. And now we let it dry, see how it comes out. Not looking too shabby. We've got a bit of an overspray at the top, came on the paper. I was going to see if I can clean that up. So now all we have left to do is attach our bridge plate onto our Jeep right there. To mount the plate, we had to cut out a small strip of metal. I've got to do some holes in it. Now, before we paint this bit of metal or put any holes in there, or do anything else with it, we want to file it down, get any sharp bits off. Now, while I'm doing this bridge plate, I've been listening to a podcast called We Have Ways of Making You Talk. It's by historian James Holland and the comedian Al Murray. I highly recommend it, all about World War II. Time for a bit of spray paint now, just so it's not bright blue and standing out. And now time to drill the holes to mount it. We attached one side of the mount and also added some foam to hold it better. Now the most difficult bit was attaching it to the grille on the front, because behind the grille you do not have a lot of space for your fingers to get in without shredding them on the radiator. But we managed to get it on and we're just adding the last bit of tightenings now. So here it is attached, however we're not done quite yet. I've decided to go and paint the bolts black because they're very bright, silver and shiny. They didn't look quite right. However, looking at some of the pictures, I may go and paint them yellow to blend in a bit better, but we'll see how it goes. Right, we're just going to take it out and have a look at this outside now once it's done. All this way, my dad's been helping me make this Jeep plate as well, so massive shout out to him for helping me get this ready. And my friends have all been helping me to try and fix on my Jeep. And we'll talk a bit more about that when we get onto the technical bits of my car. Now, let's go take it outside, see how it looks. So there you go guys, a little video, hopefully you've learned a little bit about what these bridge plates are, how important they are, and a little bit about the importance of bridges as well. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, having a follow, subscribing, everything helps. The more interested people are in my content, the more I'll post, the more frequent I'll post, and hopefully the better the content will be. I really do hope you've enjoyed. Like I said, again, please consider subscribing. I'm just a very new content creator, just in it for a bit of fun, but if you like it, it does make me happy as well. Have a good time guys.